There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
In today's world, it is no longer a luxury to be good at OEM integration. In fact, OEM integration might just be the most important thing your shop must succeed and really excel at if you want to be successful in business. Well, today we've got the king brand, like the monarch when it comes to OEM integration. We're talking about Metra and all the different sub-brands that are going to help you get into that vehicle and integrate. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, Metra. And it starts now. Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to another CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Now, OEM integration, it's no joke, man. You know as much as I do how important it is these days. And OEM integration, of course, is a ever-changing, ever-evolving scenario that you really have the responsibility to kind of stay on top of the latest technologies and the latest offerings from all the brands to make sure that you, as the specialty 12-volt shop, can get into these vehicles and integrate. When I said vehicles, I'm not just talking about car audio. We're talking about motorcycles. We're talking about maybe some application-specific stuff like Jeeps. Regardless of what it is that you're into, this is a brand that got you covered. We're talking about Metra, and under Metra, we've got a slew of other brands that we're going to be covering on today's showcase. But I won't be doing this alone. Of course, you didn't tune in for me because we've got the right specialists lined up in the back studio to join us. They are direct from their studios in Florida, from Metra headquarters. We've got these two fine fellows that I'm going to bring on right now. John Osborne, Aaron Newman, thanks for joining us today.
Welcome, fellow Terrans.
Thanks for having us.
Hello, Terrans. Yes, that may be the first time I've been referred to as a Terran on this show. So I appreciate that. OEM integration is on the menu today, gentlemen. And like when we were planning this show, I was like, oh my God, where do we start? Where do we end? How many things can we cover? And I think what we came up with is a show whereby if a dealer was to watch, it'll really get a sense and an update to several different categories under all the different brands that Metra has. And that's kind of what we're going to do today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a new era of integration, right? Kind of instead of just simply replacing or going on top of, these products now have to live in kind of a symbiotic relationship with the vehicles anymore.
So you said it earlier. I mean, it's not an option anymore. You know, you have all these factory systems that feed through the radio chimes, OnStar, Bluetooth. You can't just take something out and drop something new in without causing all kinds of havoc to the rest of the vehicle. So you have to be able to get the right parts so that all the systems continue to act correctly when you upgrade a single piece.
And I tell you, Ben, you gave us a hard task, man, being in the Metra Mecca, right? Handful of products that
Oh yeah, just pick a couple.
Just pick a couple to talk about.
In my defense, I do have certain guidelines that we have to try to adhere to, or else we could be here doing a Metra marathon, which maybe we can do. But you know, I'm not kidding. I mean, Metra, I can arguably say, is the OG of integration. Like, arguably, a radio harness was integration, and it obviously has evolved many times over since then. But man, you guys have been doing it a long time, and I want you to speak a little bit about that that mindset as well as that culture at Metra to be that integrator?
So in terms of integration and what John and I do, we're both part of the research team here. It really, the mindset is you can't really have a fixed mindset at all. The OEMs are really working their damnedest to make sure you're not into that vehicle. They're really trying to make sure you're not out of it. So, when I say not having a mindset at all, is don't come in with any preconceived ideals, right? You have to be open to trying things a new way or expanding upon your product line, or maybe taking this and even though it was a great ideal in theory, right? Practical application isn't quite as great of a great idea, right? And being able to make those side steps and go back to the drawing board of development and then really pass what we've learned on to you guys, and also take the information back from our installers and our shops and our distributors, and working with some of the manufacturers like the Jeeps and Broncos. We have local affiliates that we work with every day to make sure the product that we get to you is top notch, not just our own, but on that dealership and manufacturing level too.
Amazing. And on one show, I know it was a delicate process to try to figure out what we're going to hand pick or cherry pick, and we're going to show. Obviously, a lot of it is relevant, newer product. John, maybe you can give us an outline of what we're going to go through today.
Yeah, so I mean, we have integration harnesses that allow you to add amplifiers to the factory, the radio, be able to impedance match for some of those vehicles that are checking to make sure that everything is correct and you can't just drop an LOC in. We have full integration kits that are designed vehicle specific. We got backbone harnesses so that you have a OE style system for your aftermarket equipment that overlays with the factory. Brackets, adapters. I mean, we got quite a few things that we're going to be covering today.
Really got the reddest cherries out of us today.
Well, I'll tell you what, dealers tuning in, take out a notepad. These are a couple of the latest and greatest offerings that'll kind of give you the edge maybe over the competition. If you happen to catch this show and you know about it and they don't, and you can quote that customer, that's why you got to keep it locked here on CMA Networks. We give you the goods with our partners like Metra. So without further ado, let's go ahead and set you up, guys, and let's hear all about these great new products.
All right, so this is going to be our kind of the Gen 3 or 4, right? This is the newest generation of a Metra fully integrated kit, complete with OLED display that gives you your HVAC status, temperature controls. It has an OEM look to it, a quality that you've come to know from Metra, with really kind of stepping up the aesthetic, right? So it's not the touchscreen that you've gotten used to. It is more of a tactile. It gives you that OEM look and feel, and it's complete with this kit right here. All you got to do is bring the radio.
Yeah, this isn't like your old school kits where you change the radio out and all the factory radio buttons are still on the panel that now do absolutely nothing.
Correct. So, and that's like that with all of our turbo line of kits, the Metra Turbo kits. We really do try to give you a fully functional dash panel with that radio change out, because like he was saying, a lot of radios, regardless of what the application is, it could be a Ford, it could be a big truck driving by, it could be really just anything. And it's got those buttons there that the minute you jerk that head unit out, the factory brain box, if you will, those don't function anymore. So what
AC
we're doing,
controls that don't work, radio controls that don't work.
Yeah. What we're doing is we're giving that back to you.
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 different form factors, counting the new Pioneer kits that can control your HVAC from the radio, similar to the factory system. So you really do have a lot going on with the Metra kits. I do encourage everybody to go online, because there are some vehicles where you have 2 or 3 different options for HVAC controls, like the Camaro kit.
Yeah, depending on what kind of system you had in the vehicle. One of the nice things about it too is that since we're taking the time to design these kits so that we have the functionality and the control, we can also adjust some of the placement so that it makes sense where we put it. You might actually end up with a better location for your HVAC controls. They get shifted up a little bit into a better position since that real estate's now available.
Yeah. So, not just design, but functionality and form factor as well.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to bump over to our kind of the big, heavy dog, if you want to here. This is like I was talking about earlier. Sometimes you have an ideal that is great in application, but sometimes it's not what was needed, right? And that was our DSP harnesses, right? We got DSPs that, we offered T harnesses for, and you could add factory or add amplifiers to a factory radio.
All kinds of time alignment,
tunability. It was crazy. A bunch of stuff that was really, honestly, for your high-end customers. Or we had a DSPL, which is like your midline, but there was a lot of feedback in that, right? A lot of lessons to be learned. Not every customer that wants a subwoofer
needs to tune it.
Needs a DSP to tune it. So we have a new product here. It is a T harness, but it's just a line output converter that is able to take the higher wattage of the newer radios, because not like the 80s where it was 15 watts total output.
Yeah.
A lot of these things have a lot of higher output. So we have a line output converter that can handle that. It gives you 2 RCAs out. It's got basically a header pin on it. You just plug it in straight to your T harness. That goes behind your radio. Now, the reason why we're behind your radio is so you can get the cleanest signal possible, right? And this is going to be for applications that sometimes have, like a Toyota in this instance, that have JBL systems where we can take that line level signal and with your LOC, you can tune that to somewhere between 2 to 4 volts wherever you need this to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed there was a couple things on here that that screw there looks like an adjustable.
It is. So if you put your meter here on AC, you can dial that between 2 to 4 volts, whatever your amplifier's input is.
So you can line match.
Yep.
And then this looks like a remote out.
It is. So this is one of the LOCs that provide 12-volt trigger for you, so you don't have to be hunting for an accessory source in the car.
Those are hard to come by in these new vehicles nowadays.
Especially the push buttons. Now, because not everybody listens to the same thing, and we're giving you a line output converter, right? We're going to get you a bass knob too.
Sweet.
So, and then that's going to help
that's a lot of cable.
Dial Sir Mix-a-Lot back. When you're listening to Celine Dion later, so
you can put that sucker just about anywhere with that.
We're giving you enough cable that you're going to be able to get to the front to the back without. I mean, if you plan properly, you might have some leftover cable, but really just run it cleanly as possible, and you're not going to have any problems. Odds are you're adding an amp anyway, so when you're pulling your signal wire from here, you can pull this with it.
Exactly.
But kind of a wonderfully phenomenal piece there. It's got some protection built into the circuit as well. It's fused, so there's no possibility of affecting the factory system if something was to happen.
And we got different T harnesses for all
kinds
of different vehicles.
Let's see. This is
basically like
for a Hyundai, which, guys, honestly, this will probably be the one you get the most. Hyundais, they have incredible vehicles, lackluster radios. That's not their claim to fame, right? But somebody who just wants to put a little 810, this guy all day long, T-harness, again, you're not splicing anything. You're not having to go through each one of these to find your left and right channel or tag the rear door like we used to, and then run another 20 feet of wire just to get it from the door to the.
Imagine how much time that saves on an install. You just I know how to get the radio out. I change radios all day long.
Phenomenal.
Pop that out, plug this in, put the radio back in versus pulling up the carpet, trying to find
trying to find your signal.
Yeah, and then run that separate, from everything else that you're running.
It is an important money saver for shops, right? Because anytime you can make a T-harness versus a splice, you're saving yourself money. That's less resources from the store, less resources for wire spools you have to keep. This is something you could keep on yourself if you know your market and what cars sell popularly there, and just keep it there, have it there, so you can pop that in, get that customer rolling. This gives you upgradability in the future too, because then, say that customer comes back because they love the audio and you did that audio. You made money on that audio because it was a T-harness install. Now they're coming back to you for more.
Now, on the other side, when we talk about OE integration, this is OE integration. This is OE level design. You put this in a car, what's the chances of when the customer goes to the dealership for something that they're going to blame a high quality part, OE style finish like this, compared to the guy who spliced and soldered?
Yeah, and that's a big thing. OEs, I know at least the dealerships I've worked for and with over the years, they preach the gospel of, well, that doesn't belong there, so I need you to take that out or go see who you got it. Whereas this, man, with proper execution, you're not even going to see this. Because it looks just like the factory harness, because it is the factory harness. We use all proper Molex or whoever connector, Deutsch, whoever makes this, that's who we got it from. And for the vehicles that need load resistors on them, right? So there are Chryslers that come to my mind always first. Whereas if you try to throw an LOC on it, not only are you going to piss off the radio because it senses an imbalance. So we do have load resistors that come with these.
Oh, real quick, when you say it senses a load imbalance, what happens after that?
Well, John, you get no music.
That seems like a problem.
That is problematic, right? That is problematic. And kind of the research part of our job here is to make sure you get music, because they come to you for the music, right?
So when you tap on a standard traditional LOC, the radio detects an anomaly and shuts down the amplifier output to the speakers altogether.
Right. So it's an analog system, right? These are just resistors.
Yeah.
Your speakers, when they're tied directly to the radio, are just resistors. They're measured in ohms. It's resistance. So what it does is it thinks, the radio in its simplicity thinks that you have a blown speaker. So instead of ruining the whole system,
self-protection,
it is a protection circuit. So it's going to take that, stop the factory amplifier that's built into the radio or externally from producing sound, so it doesn't harm the system. So what we're doing is we're giving you resistors within these T-harnesses. I have these out for demonstration, but this is all going to be built into your T-harness, because I'm sure everybody has seen these at some point. And, the fact that they're 39 ohms, that's Chrysler specific. But, they're built in. It is going to keep that factory radio from going into fault, and it's going to keep your installation from coming back. No replays here. The only replay you're getting is new business, because we've taken the time to design the circuits, to understand those factory systems, so you don't have to. I'm not saying you don't want to. Everybody needs to learn over time, but when you're in a production-based society like we are now, and everybody's
keep moving forward,
everybody's got to the I need it now,
Yeah.
right? So you can give it to them now without having to have a high level of education and understanding of these pieces. You can get your shop apprentice to install it. Your 10-year guy, like we were saying earlier, can install this because he knows how to take them in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's the reason why you can do a job in an hour or a half hour, because you got good at it. These are tools. These are tools to integrate to that vehicle. New piece for us, recently started shipping. I was lucky to get these because as quickly as we make them, because they are made here in Florida, they are flying off the shelves. So
yeah,
these
contact
will be gone later.
your local distributor and definitely get yourself on the list to get an assortment.
Yeah, T-harnessed LOCs. It's the latest evolution of where the DSP technology is going, and you don't have to worry about these things being adversely affected by higher wattage systems.
All right. So what do we got next?
Boom! We're going to your start-stop.
Oh, man.
Love start-stop, right? So I bought a brand new Jeep about 2 years ago. Well, actually, my dad bought the Jeep. I just get to drive it. And the first thing I noticed wasn't when we test drove it at the dealership, never went into start-stop mode when we test drove this thing. I was sitting at a light up the street on a hill, and the Jeep cuts off, and I'm like, shit, this thing's brand new.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then let off the brake. It started right up. So I, dummy me for not looking that it had a start-stop override on it. Now, why is that important to the industry, right? It's the only way to meet CAFE right now.
Yeah. However, is that really the greatest thing for an engine?
I mean, you'd think starter technology has evolved only so far, right? The fact of the matter is that over the life of a vehicle, start-stop technology only saves about 3%. So if you're talking about a 6.2 liter gas guzzling Escalade, 3% could mean a couple $100 at the end of its life. But realistically speaking, to me, the end consumer, I don't care about that 3%.
Yeah.
What I do care about is the fact that my engine keeps shutting on and off, and in the back of my head going, well, when this thing hits 80,000 miles, I'm going to have to replace a starter that's underneath the intake manifold.
Mm-hmm.
In my Jeep specifically. But the fact of the matter is we make a way of disabling these things. And it's as simple as our device telling the car that you push the button every time you start it.
Yep.
We're not sending any error codes. We're simply sending a message across the CAN messaging system that button has been pushed. It doesn't interfere with anything in the vehicle. It doesn't interfere with any dealer issues. I've had my Jeep in now a couple times for recalls.
Yeah.
JL was a brand new design, so there's some things they needed to fix. Update the PCM, but never once have they complained about the start-stop being there. They were able to update it without any problems. Now, the one that is kind of the hat trick for Metra, right, is your Chevrolet vehicles, and that was that other harness sitting up there.
Yeah.
That one goes under hood. Chevrolet doesn't offer an override.
Yeah, you have to basically deal with it.
Yeah.
Unless you got an adapter.
Yeah. So our piece tells it, do not activate start-stop. Goes under hood, barely basic install. Customer never has to think of it again. We have them for Fords. We have them for, like I said, Chrysler products. And Chevrolets is really where we're seeing the advantage for the start-stop, because they have the Escalades, the Tahoes, Silverados that have the start-stop technology that you can't turn off. The other thing about start-stop is when you put your amps in those cars, they shut off when you're sitting at a light. Why that is? Because when, especially Chevrolet vehicles, when it shuts off, it has a secondary battery that can rest all the way down to 7 volts, which is past the cutoff for most aftermarket amplifiers.
Exactly.
Before that engine kicks back on. So, just again, another thing where you're having to think outside of the box to upgrade these vehicles. The other thing with start-stop is, like I was saying, you want to put music in these things.
Mm-hmm.
Start-stop's going to really cause that customer to boomerang on you, right? They're going to bring it back. Hey, man, I'm sitting at a light and my stuff's cutting off. What's going on?
Yeah, because they don't realize what's going on. They just see the effect.
Yeah. And Metra does have products that you can hook up to the amp that's going to keep it from shutting off during that start-stop if they don't want to override it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, there are many what I believe to be mechanical advantages of getting rid of that start-stop system. Like I said, for me,
and this is more elegant solution than
having
to secondary isolated battery to maintain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just it offers for me a kind of a safety, right? Because I don't need to be off-roading.
Oh yeah,
because I have a Jeep, I go off-roading quite a bit, and have my start-stop kick off when I'm waiting for somebody to go over an obstacle. Then it's my turn, and wait for that delay, and it comes like the Jeep hits a little bit hard when it comes back on. So, say I was on a rock and on uneven footing, then I just lost where I was sitting. So there's many advantages to overriding it. To me, your customers are going to appreciate it in the long run, I believe, because they're not replacing starters and other wear items that go with shutting on and off of the vehicle that those cars haven't been on market long enough to really know the
long-term effects.
Yeah. All right, so boom, hitting more on that. All right, so this is
more plastics.
More plastics, right? So there's, what do you want to say? This is kind of Metra's bread and butter, right? We started plastics.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for 70 years, 75 years, sorry. I mean, we design.
Math.
Design. I mean, we got high-tech 3D scanners, a whole engineering team that pulls these vehicles in, takes the radios out, scans every last inch of it, and then designs factory, again, OE grade solutions that match color, match texture, and give you that finished, elegant solution.
Yeah. So what you're seeing on the screen is for the 22 and up Titan, the brand new Titan. And as you can see, now Nissan did go a little bit extra. They put a bigger screen in it, but that screen that they put in it wasn't necessarily
the most user-friendly interface.
It wasn't. It was a terrible interface, personally, but it works, right? It worked very well. But for a customer who wants that seamless Apple CarPlay integration or wants wireless CarPlay, for that fact, because Nissan and Mitsubishi doesn't have that yet.
Correct.
This is how you get it to them. There are tablet-style radios out there that have wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, and we have the plastics for you. We got plastics for the new Outlander and Outlander Sport, or RVRs and other markets. Man, these are your bread and butter cars. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And they have room for growth in that audio space.
Yeah. As nice as like a display size might be, when there is a desire for some of these functionalities that just got missed. I mean, customers are coming in for those features. I mean, that's why the majority of people upgrade cars nowadays, not because it's got a bigger engine or it's got a new body style. They're coming in and buying new cars because of the technology upgrades that are in these newer vehicles.
Yeah. Good example is my daughter has a 2023 Outlander Sport. Like I said, it's an RVR in Canada. Same car, though. Hers came with a 10-inch screen, and it is okay at best. It doesn't sound terrible, but it's not going to be your Kenwood Exelon, right? Because right off the head unit, Kenwood sound amazing, right? But after about 2 months of this, she decided she wanted her wireless CarPlay back, because I had an Exelon in her little Beetle that had that wireless CarPlay. And for her, that loss of a little bit of screen was more than made up for by both sound quality and comfort features.
Yeah, those creature comforts are they're the source.
It is, because essentially, mechanically, that car is the same as it was in 2019, as it was in 2016, and I think it was 2012 or 13 when it was introduced. But there was one really local example to me, right? But I can tell you that we sell enough of these that my local example wasn't just the only one doing it. Right. And then kind of another piece, not specifically geared towards those vehicles, but This is going to be your Chryslers, your Hyundais, any data-driven vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Chevrolet. We have an AXTC. I'm going to get Ben to throw a quick little video up here, and then we're going to dive right into it.
Hi, Brandon from Metra Electronics, here with Access's Total Control Series, the AXTC1. Access has engineered a new data interface that combines all of the features of the patented ASWC-1 with additional patent-pending features into one robust solution for new radio installations. When replacing a radio, the AXTC-1 utilizes patented auto-detecting technology that automatically detects the vehicle type, radio connection, and preset controls, while allowing the ability to dual assign steering wheel controls. The AXTC1 has a small footprint but provides nav outputs, accessory power, and 12-volt illumination output. In addition to retaining wrap, it also retains memory settings even after battery disconnection or interface removal. The AXTC1 also has an upgraded simple LED feedback for programming with improved user-friendly instructions. This universal solution works with both amplified and non-amplified models and all major radio brands, and is micro USB updatable. Additional vehicle-specific packages include harnessing for an easier installation. For any more information on this product, you can visit us at accessinterfaces.com, find us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Thank you for choosing Metra Electronics. We are 12 volt.
Yeah, so watching those videos, it's kind of a side note. You notice, how often do we say patent pending in those videos?
A lot. It's a favorite word, actually.
Yeah.
But the reason why it is patented, you're leading the way.
Yeah, we have a team here that's dedicated to going out and finding solutions. It's kind of our internal mantra is find a way, trying to be that leader. We bring in these new cars that there's always new hurdles, and the team here is definitely up to the challenge of tackling those. So yeah,
kind of the cool thing. This ASTC is not new anymore, right? When I say not new, it's a couple of years old, but I have, for the life of me, cannot figure out why people haven't jumped on this, right? For years, I have used an AXVI and a separate AXSWC. And that's a lot of wire, right?
I mean, that's ingrained in me.
It is. It's ingrained in everybody. But this little guy right here. Now, I wasn't gifted with the world's biggest hands. I'll be the first to admit to it, right?
Yeah.
But that's after you drop it, that's all the bigger it is. But it is not huge, right? And it comes with the harnessing, the T-harnessing to integrate to the vehicle. Steering wheel controls. On Chevrolets, it has a chime module built to it, right? But it all fits within this tiny little footprint here.
Yeah, and with the new vehicles, every time that we bring them in, there's less and less room inside that dash.
Less dash space.
So a solution like that is it's amazing that you can get that much technology into such a small footprint.
And here's the thing. I say built-in steering wheel controls, but this can be programmed without steering wheel controls too. So you only need to keep one device.
For both applications.
At your shop, yeah. At both applications. I've done videos on programming steering wheel controls. I haven't done anything with this one yet, but I promise you guys you won't be sorry. You know what? It's still Metratech Aaron on Facebook. If you don't like it, let me know. Let me know, because it is worth your time. It is worth your time with the right applications. I use them a lot for Jeeps because that's where my wheelhouse is, right? But
yeah.
I got one piece that I can easily hide behind the dash, and I don't have to keep 15 other SKUs around. Now, is it handy to have the older AXVI? Those are tried and true, you know. But for my cost and shelf space, because we don't have a lot of shelf space, we're just starting out, right?
Inventory dollars, your overhead.
Every penny counts for us, and especially with the luck of we're right off of Ridgewood, right? And when you have Jeep events, or this particular one is used in a Harley, When Bike Week comes around or Jeep Beach comes around, we're right there, man. We get to capture that. So with one piece, I've got 2 different vehicles.
Yeah.
That is very popular to my area. So understanding your area, understanding those applications do play a lot into it. But quick, easy install, quick, easy program, super easy to program. You just can't go wrong with this little guy. And as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I got to say about that. So we're going to go ahead and bump on. Talking about integrations, right?
Yeah.
But bang for your buck. Metra makes a lot of speaker adapters. We do, and I know because I get to do those now.
Passed on from one side of the table to the other.
The baton was passed on, right? But we came up with these. As you can see, it's got the Chevy mounts in it, and it's got Toyota holes, and basically it's a 6.5 and a 6x9. And these, man, you can't beat these. You really can't. Honestly, the only thing special about them is how many different applications you can make this work in. You're talking Nissan, Toyota, Fords, again, Chevrolets with their snap-in.
Mazda, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, just versatile as all get out, man. When you're talking about retail space, because these got little snap-offs, you'll have to go online to see it.
This is great because so many applications are here. It's not that I don't have the right speaker adapter on the wall and I want to get this job out today, so let me grab a universal and some stinger screws and right into the sheet metal and get it done. I mean, you carry a couple sets of these and you have most of your applications.
I'd say a good percentage of the market, but
you're not going to be out.
Again, a piece that is really just not come into its own yet.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying don't buy speaker adapters. We want you to buy speaker adapters because there are some applications where this isn't going to be thick enough, right?
Yeah, they're going to be tailored for the depth of the door.
Again, knowing your area, knowing your market, right? This is going to take care of most of my Toyotas. This is going to take care of most of your Tacomas, your 4Runners, Jeeps.
Yeah, this is your perfect backup on the shelf, off the shelf. You get a vehicle that so happens to come in that you don't have a guide for. You don't know what speaker adapter it may or may not use, but you got one of these on the wall. You know it works with that for the majority of that brand.
So instead of modifying your customer's car, modify this.
I may have hacked up a 6x9 with the,
We all worked on a Crown Vic before.
Yeah.
Customer wants a 6x9, he's going to get it in that 5x7 hole.
Yep.
But again, could have done that, mounted here, and then found a way to do it without cutting the metal. But it's a great piece. It really does sell itself. It's newer for us. Once it captures traction, man, I think it's going to be a wildfire piece just because it does cover so much. So I'm going to go ahead and force power our way through. Next slide. All right.
I-beam integration.
I-beam. So I don't have any I-beam with me, but
these are really cool. So on a lot of these new vehicles, they have LVDS cameras that are data driven.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure ones and zeros don't play well with.
Yeah, so here's the thing. For when we were developing the Pioneer kit in-house for Jeep, and again, I know I keep referencing it, but it is relevant to the conversation right now. New Jeeps come with LVDS cameras. It was the first generation of Jeep to come with an LVDS camera, and as you can see on the picture, Rams have that same LVDS camera. There are quite expensive pieces out on the market to retain that camera. I have installed a few, and they are not quite what you would feel, or even what that camera is capable of.
Gotcha. There's a little loss in translation.
There is. It's squeezing that digital signal and putting a composite output to it. So what we did here is through the I-beam line, gave you a factory replacement piece, essentially. It's an HD camera. It is able to be powered up. It has an upgraded power supply, so it's able to be powered up when the vehicle's running.
So it's on and ready all the time.
On and ready. So, like, say you're towing a trailer and your head unit will allow you to see your backup camera. You can turn that on and see what's behind you. But really, the kind of claim to fame to these is we have factory bracketry.
Nice.
So you install the camera into that, and you can replace the entirety of the camera and retain your factory handle if it's in the handle, or in like the Gladiator's case, it's a special like molded piece on the tailgate. But point is we have those pieces to directly replace the cameras to composite. It's a higher quality image, and that way you can replace the radio in the car. You retain the safety of having a backup camera.
And the same fit and finish.
Yeah, and aesthetically, nothing changes for your customer. And you've saved them quite a bit of money.
Oh, yeah.
You've saved them quite a bit of money by changing, even though you're charging them man hours to change out that camera.
Oh,
your LVDS, your retentions are expensive.
And honestly, I would, as a shop, I think I would rather get those dollars in labor, which goes in my pocket, versus in a part that I have to pay.
Doesn't make sense.
So, very good solution.
But yeah, check out ibeamusa.com. We have many more than you see on the screen there. Again, from the top of the hour, we were cherry picking.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the two most recent pieces that I helped with. So
yeah,
that's why they got there. But there's
a lot of solutions.
There's a lot of great people here on our research department that have made the I-beam line what it is, and helped really fashion solutions that integrate not just I-beam, but to access everything under that Metra umbrella. So I'm going to go ahead. There we go. So Saddle Tramp, right? So I kind of jumped into this with our little AXTC. Now we call this BC-HDR K1, right? Right there.
Yeah.
but again, integration, right? Factory harnessing. It's going to plug right in under your fairing. It's got your hand, not steering wheel controls, but hand controls.
Yep.
Built in. Yeah. Got these guys. These are.
So if you're adding a tour pack.
Yeah, if you're adding a tour pack, saddle bag.
Saddlebags.
Speakers.
Yeah.
Basically, that fits onto a factory backbone, or
if you don't have the factory backbone, we have it.
We have it as well, right? The BC9720.
So it's going to run out, and it's going to allow you to break out and give you an OE level connection, easily disconnectable for your saddlebag. So if you decide to take the saddlebag off, it gives you a disconnect point.
Absolutely.
And gives you a solid, clean, watertight connector to feed that audio back there and add that upgraded sound.
Yeah, and these are again purchased from the same factory Harley gets theirs from.
Yeah.
So, a lot of pieces under the Saddle Tramp brand. We could be here for hours just talking about how many different variations on harnessing that we have, or our amp plates that allow you to use factory screw locations to put a small form factor amp on.
Yeah, that's really slick.
Like on the screen,
right up underneath the radio, the 4 screws in the side,
mm-hmm.
and then you're right there out of the radio directly into the amp. Yeah. All up underneath the fairing. So if you're doing any kind of maintenance on either or, it's all together.
Yeah. So the cool thing about what we're displaying here today, right? What I picked out for my Saddle Tramp stuff is what you're seeing there. You can upgrade factory radios, right? So with our DSP line,
mm-hmm.
you could upgrade, add amplifiers there, or using the entire radio replacement. And if you want to keep all of your factory harnessing, and that way you can break off take off your saddlebags or your tour pack without having to make your own spade connector terminals and run wire endlessly.
Yeah, because those never accidentally like come off the wire. Or
Never,
like that.
never if you don't grip them right every time. But again, lots of stuff on the Saddle Tramp line. Saddle Tramp is all going to be found on Metra Power Sports site. I do encourage you guys to go through the online catalog. We have a fitment guide for Saddle Tramp product. If you're nervous about getting into bike work,
we got videos to help out with a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal. I just started really diving into Harleys like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Harleys weren't kind of my forte. I'm a bike guy, but they weren't really my thing. I didn't know how to work on them. And with just a little bit of mechanical understanding, right? So you have to know how to turn a screwdriver and spin a wrench, right? Yep. There is that barrier of entry, really low. But with all this product that I started making video with and working on them myself, being here in Daytona, I've taken on jobs that I never would have done 2 years ago. And it's all based off of
knowing that we can integrate with his factory connections at, again, that plug and play level. Because I was the same way. Yeah. I mean, cars, boats, trucks, UTVs, ATVs, all day. But that beast of a motorcycle, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's expensive. The owners, just like your Corvette guys, just like your Jeep guys, they're very dedicated to their bikes.
Yeah.
And that was always the barrier for me. I didn't want to get into a situation where it was over my head. But I'm telling you, the way we have the product broke down, you're not going to get it if you follow the formula.
This feels familiar.
Yes.
This feels like my car audio world. And that makes it accessible for so many more installers.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't be afraid to take that first bike.
Yeah.
But like it was just getting into Jeep stuff. All right, so I'm gonna let John kind of really take the wing here because this is I'm super proud of it for him.
One of my babies. This was a lot of fun to design and build. And I have to give a handout to Aaron here for letting me tear his Jeep apart. I don't know how many times to test, fit, refit. Fit. So we have an amplifier solution for the Jeep that allows you to use either a 4-channel amp and a sub, or just do a sub solution. 2 different packages available. Again, we've measured all the wire lengths.
Yeah, you get everything is pre-measured. I have this one for just demonstration, right? But this screws on to here. This is within 18 inches of your battery.
Yep.
It screws on to factory locations under the hood of the Jeep.
Has a solid metal bracket, so it's safe and secure.
Yep. What is that? Paint, diamond plate.
Yeah, it's electrostatic. So
powder coat. That's the word I couldn't think of.
So yeah, and you can see it has 2 sets of holes. So if you get the sub kit, it'll come with 1 fuse holder. If you get the 4-channel and sub, you'll have independent fuse holders for both amps. And yes, the plate is tapped, so you're not there nut and bolt underneath. You just screw it right on.
So all of your wiring is pre-terminated, pre-measured.
Yep.
Really,
there's video on this thing.
There is a video for it. Ben, can you cue that video out, bud?
Introducing Metra Jeep Accessories' new mount for the mid-size subwoofer amp installation on the 2018 and up Jeep Wrangler and 2020 and up Jeep Gladiator. The JP-18 Amp-1, a cost-effective way to install a subwoofer amp underneath the passenger seat of your Jeep. To start the installation, mount the fuse holder rack to the passenger side of the engine bay near the battery using a 10mm socket. The forward mounting hole will use an existing M6 bolt, while the rear mounting hole will use the included M6 by 1 inch bolt into an unused factory mount location. Run the pre-installed red power wire from the fuse holder and connect it to the positive battery terminal using a 12mm socket. Using a T20 Torx, install the red power wire into the open end of the fuse holder. Do not install the fuse at this time. Run the red power wire behind the fuse box and down the engine bay side of the firewall. Using a T50 Torx, unbolt the front passenger seat. Lean passenger seat back and disconnect the 2 connectors from the bottom of the seat. Remove passenger seat and set aside. Using a pry tool and a 10mm socket, unhook the door catch, then remove the door seal and kick panel cover. Pull back the carpet and locate the floor grommet underneath the seat and remove it. Using a 1/2 inch drill bit, drill a hole into the grommet. Run the red power wire up through the grommet hole and secure it with its included zip ties. Slide the grommet over the red power wire and reinstall. Run ground wire under the passenger seat. Mount the black wire to the factory ground point in the passenger kick panel with a 10mm socket. Unclip the climate control panel and set aside. Remove 2 Phillips screws securing the radio trim panel, then unclip and remove the panel. Remove 4 Phillips screws securing the radio, then unplug and remove. Lower and remove the glove box, then set it aside. Using a pull rod, route the RCA and remote wire cable from the radio cavity into the glove box cavity, then under the center console and out under the passenger seat. Mount the amp-to-amp rack. Reposition the carpet on the passenger side. Terminate cables with proper connector for the style of amplifier being used. Connect all the cables to the amp. Then position the rack in the vehicle with the rear bracket feet over the passenger seat rear bolt hole locations. Reinstall the door seal and kick panel. Reconnect the door catch. Reinstall the glove box. Connect RCAs and remote wire to the radio. Then reinstall radio and dash. Using a T20 Torx, install a mini ANL fuse into the fuse holder. Turn vehicle on and test amplifier. Make the necessary adjustments to the amplifier settings. Reinstall the passenger seat. The rear of the seat's brackets will sit on top of the amp rack feet and bolt down, sandwiching the amp rack between the seat and the floor. Slide the seat back and forth to make sure there's no interference between the seat and amplifier. For any more information on this product, you can visit metraonline.com, find us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Thank you for choosing Metra Electronics. We are 12 volt.
I think I've seen that guy before.
I was going to say the same thing. They look really familiar. Super familiar. So one of the things that kind of point out there, our narrator, if you might have caught, keep talking about run the red power wire, run the red power wire. Reason being is that it's the little things in life, you know?
It is little things.
So the power wire for the 4-channel amp has a different wire color than the subwoofer.
Anyway, it's hard to focus, but
so for the 4-channel, you have white power wire, and for the subwoofer, you have red power wire. That allows you to easily identify at the under the hood and down at the amp. You don't anywhere along.
You don't have to guess which one's your sub and which one's your. If you're diagnosing anything, swapping out your battery. We've had to actually diagnose something on the Jeep, and it makes it super easy to trace your battery routes versus having to guess.
And then even with the audio cables, they have another braiding in the TexFlex to identify the audio cables. So when you pull the carpet back or whatever, you're in the dash and you see this, you can easily identify, oh, that's the audio for the 4-channel. This is the audio for the 2-channel.
Yeah. So quite comprehensive, as you've seen in the video. It's a great product. I've installed about 50 of these so far. I've actually got another one to install in a Gladiator tonight.
Nice.
Our sales guy, Raph, some of you guys may know him, but he's getting one of our amp kits put in tonight.
And mounting up underneath those factory bolts of the seat.
It makes it so easy. You don't actually. So we pulled the seat for the video, but kind of couple that I've learned a little trick or two along the way. Right. You just kind of lean the seat back a little bit, throw the roof, the canopy up, and shove the seat up through the top. So that way I don't have to take the seat all the way out. I just kind of lean it forward with the headrest going up through the roof, and get all of my wires situated. Because the carpet on these is just buttoned down, so you unbutton it, pull all your wires where it needs to be. The other thing on that video, when I was drilling the grommet, a lot of guys use lube on those, and I mean, I've gotten the comments on Facebook from it as well. Oh my God, I wouldn't do that. A little bit of dry bar soap, man, that is going to help that from walking all over the place on you and get your hole through.
Yeah.
It's not as terroristic as some people lead it out to be, but it's super easy install. I just, like I said, I'm proud of this piece, not because I made it, he did, but it is a part that only Metra has, and it serves a market that is there.
It's nice by not having a flat mount as well underneath there. You retain that foot space.
Yeah, your passenger still has their foot space. And as you've seen, I ended up switching out from the mini amp to, for the most part, a full-size amp. And it fits wonderfully under there with no troubles. Not dropping brand names, but there are two big manufacturers who have amps that fit that foot plate exact, and they
put out some beats.
They put out some sound. So, but other than that, that's I think gonna
throw it back here to Ben.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I could see how you kind of was challenging to nitpick enough to cover all the brands, but not go too deep, because I mean we could have went down a rabbit hole with each one of the sub brands.
Oh yeah. I had some high sliding stuff on there, but we had done a high show already, so I didn't kind of want to go back down that rabbit hole.
So throw out to Ben right there. If you guys are interested in some heists, you got another video that you can be hooked up with.
We go deep with John and Aaron on that heist one, so definitely check that one out on the networks. All right, just a few comments, guys. When you start seeing these complete kits, like the one we showed earlier with the Cadillac, you skim by it, but like the OLED display is included in these kits. Like this is a full out solution. And it once installed, 95% of consumers wouldn't even know that wasn't factory. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the refinement of the final piece. I've seen these in person, the textures, the fitment, the screen, the interface, all of that just flows so fluid on it, like a factory OE system would. So I wanted to give credit to whoever is part of that team. And you mentioned it quickly, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's revisions,
hundreds of man hours, and
3D printed models. Bring the car back in, check it out, tweak it, adjust it. This would be better. That would be better. So I mean, it's not just a quick one time through. But
and this is crazy because I think, and this could be a part of another discussion, but when consumers think about radio trim like we used to do back in the day, which some cases we still do, but obviously this is not the same radio trim of
no goodness no. Like you watch some of those programs on like Motor Trend TV and whatnot, where they're selling used cars and they go, oh my god, it's got an awful aftermarket radio in it, and they're keen to pull it out because it's so obviously a cheap radio. Somebody threw it in there, but the fact of the matter is, to your point, these things look kind of like Foose design, right? Chip Foose does a lot of this stuff.
I'm saying this, Aaron.
OEM plus,
right? OEM plus. That's a great way to put it, because they're not $10, $20 trim plates. You know what I mean? These are full out kits, so you need to understand and that you need to communicate to the customer exactly the extensiveness of what that kit entails. Having said that, man, brand new category in the active LOCs, right? This is something that's really recent. I noticed that in that presentation, that was a 2-channel. Are there plans to have multi-channel ones coming down later the pipe, higher voltage? Can you share with us a couple of those?
So here's the thing. I don't want to say yes, but I don't want to say no. Because just because there's not something in the works right this moment, that doesn't mean that market demand won't find a way.
Fair enough. But obviously, huge Access launching a brand new active LOC line that has base knob control. And I like the fact that it's fused. And the best part, T-harness. I think that's the clutch term in that entire section right there. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick that kind of caught my attention was, those speaker. I mean, this seems so silly. Like, who needs it? Dude, I would have those always in stock. It just... Put it in there. The customer, I mean, for what they're worth, it makes the finished job better. And as any good shop should always take pictures of the install, right? Before you close everything up, send them to the customer, show clean that looks, that you have it trimmed, that's made, you didn't just I think John had said just slap it right into the sheet metal. To do that, guys, when there are tools such as these speaker rings that Metra makes that, let's be honest, don't cost $1 million. And really just makes for a clean install and a better sound too, better seal, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And finally, what can I say about saddle tramp? We've had the opportunity. I've been with, we did a session with Jason and you, Aaron, previously to this. We even did a live install once of. I cannot, and for the record, I cannot fathom a shop that does specialty work and audio for Harley Davidson that doesn't use saddle tramp accessories. It's unique in the category. You guys have got it covered from the backbone all the way to speaker adapters. I mean, everything is there. So if you're a motorcycle and you're not checking out saddle tramp, definitely check this out. Extensive line of everything you need to integrate into that vehicle. Okay. Last but not least, I want to comment on this application specific kit. First of all, how cool is it that we don't have to drill a hole in the firewall? Amazing that you go under the car and you put it coming through the grommet. The second part to that, did you say even the tie wraps, the heavy duty tie wraps are included in the kit for you to tie wrap that power wire under the chassis?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. And there's a braid that kind of protects the jacket of the power wire as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a finish that keeps the coating on the. I'm not going to take away. It's cool to fabricate nifty brackets to place hardware. I'm not taking that away. But man, you guys already did the work and it's ready to go. Just bolt in. I mean, that's genius. I love, especially the fuse holder and the one under the seat. Is there a threshold of height for the amplifier to keep within to not be obstructive of any mechanism under there?
I think we're as long as it's like under 3.
Yeah, so you're looking at about 3.5 inches.
Okay, it's still a fair amount. Like
Yeah.
And that's really going to be dependent on a few different factors. So I found that some of the various Jeep trims have higher mounted seats. So on like your Rubicons, your Saharas, you can get away with a bit of a taller amp. But you know, when you're designing kits like this, you want to go with the lowest common denominator. It does fit both applications and two-door as well. Just got to throw that out there.
I was going to ask that. Does that also fit the two-door model? Okay, so you did.
So on the new Jeep, the seat folds forward, so that telescopic mechanism runs on the sides now.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it
laying on top of the amp.
coming into your amp.
I love these application-specific things. These are awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
We do need to shout out on this here that it is for aftermarket head units. It's not a. We don't.
I noticed there was a Nex in the video. That was a Pioneer radio that was in the video. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not plug and play with a OE head
right.
unit.
You still have to figure out how to integrate, get the signal, and then send that over to the app. It's not plug and play in that sense, but it's ready to go once you figure out.
Yeah, it's ready to go with an aftermarket radio.
Yeah,
there's everything you need.
Yeah. Now the 4-channel, you could probably skirt that one.
Yeah.
It comes with a T harness, and say you get yourself a couple LOCs, you could make that work. But just know that going into Chrysler factory radios, the little 5 and 7-inch radios, they have a weird cutoff for bass.
Yeah.
So that don't.
Is it volume dependent, or is it just a flat?
Yeah, it is volume dependent. So, when you go into that, that's why we didn't make a T harness for that particular application. Just because the 4-inch factory driver lends itself.
Does Axis make a DSP unit for that?
We do.
Yeah,
we do. And that's kind of where this would. I know we weren't trying to jump into DSPs today, but that is where this piece, if you wanted it to go on a factory head,
a DSP would be the solution.
Very good. And my final point before we let you guys go is, man, that video was so well done. I feel like I could have installed that, to be honest with you. I have all those tools.
It's very not hard.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of stuff to take apart, right? You got the seat, you've got the side panel and a little bit of the kick panel and the temperature. I mean, the HVAC controls, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, most of it pops off.
So and even the grounding point is so close. The factory grounding point right there in the kick. Yeah, amazing.
So you're not drilling holes.
Yeah, everything you've seen in that video was the entirety of the install.
Amazing, very nice. All right, guys. Listen, if you guys have hung with us this far, obviously you're interested in what Metra has to offer with all the different brands that they have. I do encourage you, head over to their master website, which is metraonline.com. From there, you can navigate to all the different brands, as mentioned today, whether it's Saddle Tramp or Heiss or Access or even iBeam. That would be the hub and where to start. And if you're a dealer tuning in, well, depending on where you're on the world, get a hold of Metra. They will direct you to your closest distributor. Gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for a great presentation, keeping us up to date on all the great OE integration options that are out from Metra. And I wish you the best, and we look forward to connecting with you at a future session.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Ben.
Take care, guys. All right, there you have it. That was John Osborne and Aaron Newman over for at Metra, updating us on some pretty cool integration options now available from the Metra camp. All right. We've got a wicked cool contest going on right now. You better head over there to our website and sign up because it's free, because we are giving away 2 trips to the Master Tech Expo in Mesa, Arizona in 2023. One lucky winner from Canada, one from the US. This is in collaboration with 5-Axis Innovations and SiriusXM, all-inclusive trip. All you got to do is head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway and sign up. While you're on the website, make sure you check out all the great content we have on. Tons of great videos that we've collaborated with Metra on. If you want to get on the Metra train, get on there, type in Metra, get to their playlist, and check out all the great informative videos that are on cmanetworks.com. All right, that's it for this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. As always, I am your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?